Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, and today we're gonna be playing Europa Universalis 4. Yeah, this is gonna be one of those gameplay videos. Well, anyway, EU4 is a grand 4x strategy game developed by Paradox, wherein you rule your land and dominate the world with unparalleled freedom, death, and historical accuracy. Well, anyway, let's dive in. Now, this is gonna be our second gameplay, which means that we only know the basics at this point in time. And we're not gonna be playing as one of the European factions that you see on the screen. No, no, no. We're gonna be playing as Duke Maraja Maguindanao of the Maguindanao Dukedom. Now, why Maguindanao, you asked? Because I came from these parts and I want to promote my country. Hashtag Filipino pride. And we're not gonna be choosing normal mode because we don't want to be normal. And achievements can be earned in iron mode. So, we're gonna be naming this as Maguindanao No Return to remind us of this bad decision. And here we are in the Duchy of Maguindanao 1444. In 1444, the Philippine Islands are home to a number of small, seafaring city-states. The islands have always been distant enough to preserve their autonomy, even in the face of strong hegemons like the former Srivijaya Empire or the Muslim sultanates of Brunei and Malacca. Instead, the archipelago was developed into a microcosm of Indianized, Sinophile, and Islamicized kingdoms, each with their own character and background. And I am not gonna read the rest of this page. The duchy follows the animist faith, which belongs to the pagan group, and the duchy's form of government is monarchy, which means that they are set for life and can only be replaced by an heir, a consort, or by rebellion. As for environment, there are no region-wide mechanics, which I deemed wrong, as the Philippines is home to earthquakes and typhoons. So, anyway, let's start with the game. So here we are, Maguindanao, and we're starting with 6,000 soldiers. That has no leader, so first we're gonna have to hire a leader. And his name is Laut Buisan Sentosa. He's gonna be leading our army in this game. Also, we have free advisor slots, which are costly to maintain if we hire them, and we have only 50 gold. And yeah, we have national decisions available. Gonna have to click the ones that are clickable or not. Yeah, I clicked those. And we can also seize land, grab lands from the people. We can summon a diet, and of course we can sell titles, which means we can also sell the land that we have seized, which is amazing if you think about it. We also have 2 free merchants, and we need them to work so that we can earn money. So here I'm checking where they need to go, where to assign them, and I have decided that they're gonna be working in, or they're gonna be assigned in Siam and Canton. Yeah, those 2 guys need to work to earn. So after exploring my neighbors and peacefully running my duchy, in June 16, 1445, my boy Butuan insulted us, which in turn led us to casus belli. To those of you who do not know what casus belli is, it's just basically a justification to wage a war with the other party. And in this case, our casus belli is just because of them insulting us, so we need to show them superiority by winning battles. Imagine if it were to happen in the year of our Lord 2026. Lol. Anyway, I'ma just ignore that as it is not important right now. 6 months later, in December 1445, my buddy Sulu also gained a casus belli by claiming that our land is theirs, which means that they can use this to suddenly wage a war with us. In Bisaya, we have a term for these types of people, bagabadilagnaw, which means that they're beautiful. Anyway, I'ma just ignore it as it is not urgent or a priority at this point. A month later, we have decided to summon a diet. It's just convening the 3 estates that I have in my land, which are the clergy, the nobility, and the merchant guilds. Now, in this diet, each of them gives me their own proposals that I can complete on a certain amount of time, which in turn could give me a boost on their loyalty and in governing the land and my people. Now, in this case, I have accepted the proposal of the nobility to invest in the prosperity of their lands in Lanao because it is the easiest thing to do, which in turn gives me 10 nobility loyalty and some manpower that I don't currently need. So we go to the development tab and spend military points to increase the manpower of Lanao, and voila! We have completed the estate agenda. And since we have extra diplomatic and administrative points, we have also increased Lanao's other areas of production as we're trying to be a good government here. Please pretend that you have not seen the harvest failure. We're still a good government even if we have harvest failure. Harvest failures are acts of nature anyway, so we can't really do anything about that. Now, time skipping 2 years later, we have acquired a lot of administrative, diplomatic, and military points. So we have decided to use those to improve the quality of life of our constituents. Partly because we want to be a government that we could have been in real life, but mostly because we still did not know the use of those points. Have I told you guys that this is my second try at this game? The year is 1451. Yeah, we're gonna be having a lot of time skips in this game as most parts are, shall we say, boring to you guys. More boring than what you're seeing right now. So we're just gonna grab the interesting parts. Anyway, the year is 1451 and our military general decided to depart the world of the living. And while he never flinched in the face of danger, it was old age that eventually got to him. He died too soon without being able to accomplish much of note. You bet he is. We haven't even waged a war yet, let alone a skirmish. But let's just think that he helped unite the army and that he maintained peace and order within our lands. After his death, we hired someone to replace him, and that is Kawasa Anwar Ud Din Sentosa. Might be his killer nephew? I don't know. 2 years later, we're just minding our own business, checking our coffers, and ruling our land. Butuan, our lovely neighbor, decided that we're now rivals. I mean, okay, I don't care. Do your thing. But then again, 2 years after that, we have discovered that they have planted spies in our lands. This is insufferable, egregious, intolerable affront to my rule. But that is no matter as I just have a whopping 3 digits in my bank account. Talk about being rich. Now, continuing on improving the lives of my constituents, ensuring that I am able to provide them with basic necessities that is required of me as their ruler, I just discovered that those administrative, diplomatic, and military points that I have been earning all this time can be used for R&D to improve my civilization. And here I am, wasting away my points to these commons where I can use it for the better good of my rule. After recovering from my incompetence, Butuan discovered the spies that I have planted. That's it. That's the end of the stick. I am gonna retaliate. Butuan will start to face the wrath of Duke Maraja Maguindanao. We're gonna fabricate a claim that Butuan, the land of Datu Kulambu the First Panay, is actually ours. We have found a legal document dating back centuries that we have in fact owned that land, signed by Jesus himself. And that will be our justification to wage a war against them in the near future. And while we're at it, we're also gonna issue an embargo to them to make their lives somewhat miserable. But then again, that embargo is not fully in effect as we have not declared rivalry against them, so we're going to fix that. And while we're at it, we're also gonna declare rivalry against Madjas as they are starting to become an itch on our side. Now, a few months after setting the stage to wage a war, our newly hired military general decided to follow his predecessor, so we are forced to hire a new one, again, wasting our precious military points. This guy's name is Makaalang Saripada Sentosa, still a Sentosa, so he might also die in a few years. After changing our general, we are now checking who the enemies of Butuan are. The enemies whom we can forge an alliance with, as the enemy of my enemy is my friend, or so the saying goes. We can see that Madjas currently is also our rival, is a staunch ally of Butuan. Tundo is also Butuan's ally. Now, checking the map to the north, these two dukedoms are guarding the entrance to the Visayan Sea, the area needed for us to blockade in order to further weaken Butuan in times of war. Madyas claimed Tondo's land, meaning that Tondo and Madyas are not really that friendly, so we go to Tondo to forge an alliance with them, granting as somewhat a safe passage to the Visayan Sea. However, they are already allies with Butuan, so they might not help us in our Butuan conquest. But since they have accepted our alliance, we have secured their neutrality in the upcoming conquest. Ah, the intricacies of politics. We can also see that Tondo is allied with Cebu, which is also within the Visayan Sea, so we can go ahead and also try to forge an alliance with them in order to blockade any help coming from Adjust and help us in our conquest. They are more than willing to accept our alliance, so who are we to not offer it to them? We've tried reaching out to Brunei, but they are not so friendly because we are just a small dukedom not worthy of their time. We also tried Berau, but they also laughed at our military strength, which is understandable at this point. A few royal marriages later, we have decided to max out our army in preparation for the upcoming war. Granted that we have 6,000 to Butuan's 4,000, but it would not hurt to be on the safer side. And I want Butuan to suffer a crushing defeat, a defeat so swift they are occupied before they can even blink. While waiting for our additional regiments, we have decided to hire an admiral to lead our navy into the Visayan Sea. The guy is Muhammad Dipatuan Kudarat Sentosa. Seriously, what's with these Sentosas anyways? It's like their only purpose are to be generals and admirals. After hiring Muhammad, we have merged our fleets into one and moved it towards Lanao port in preparation for the upcoming conquest. Also, so as not to give them just the leverage of blockading us while transiting the Visayan Sea. Now that our army has 9 regiments, our coffers are now at a decline, paying said regiments, so we need to start the conquest as soon as possible. So we moved the army towards Lanao in preparation for the invasion, and we have laid down the terms of war towards Butuan. As we can see, the casus belli is to take Butuan, humiliating them in the process. Also, we cannot call on Tondo to be our ally as it is also an ally of Butuan, but we can call on Cebu. We don't want Majus to be a co-belligerent on this war so as to limit our enemies, and we're set to wage an easy war with Butuan. Not nervous at all. And that is the end of part 1 of playing as Maguindanao in Europa Universalis 4. Will we emerge as victorious in this conquest? We'll see in the next video.